I wanted to talk a little Phillies, a little Sixers, and the Eagles question of the day, how to fix the Eagles. But yet I wake up today and I see more optic issues with our Philadelphia Eagles. Avante Maddox, Darius Slay, again. So we're going to talk about optics of the Philadelphia Eagles, along with everything else I talk. Trending in the AM on the all-new STT Sports Network. We're live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on STT Sports Network. Guys, we're live. Facebook for a little while longer. YouTube, of course. Twitter. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button. It is free to do it. It does not cost you a thing to hit that subscribe button as we bring you all the trending sports topics in Philadelphia every single morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. I am your host, Phil Stiefel, and we've got a jam-packed show today. We got a special guest coming up in about an hour, Josh Davis of the Phillies Special. 75,000 subscribers plus one of the best, one of the biggest Eagles YouTube content creators there are in the business. He'll be joining us for the final segment of the show, talking a little Eagles with him. And yes, Peanut, we are over 100 subscribers. We got from 91 to 119 in the last 24 hours. Now let's see how many we can grow today. Let's go. Anybody watching not on the STT Sports Network YouTube page, please click the link in the description of whatever platform you're watching on and do this. I see K1 comment and Little G. They weren't here yesterday. EOP is coming to an end as a YouTube page. I am coming to an end with my time with EOP. The entire EOP is pretty much going away. So, guys, make sure you click the link in whatever platform you're watching and find my new YouTube channel and click that subscribe button. That is where you'll get Trending in the AM starting next week going forward, and that is it. So it's very important that you guys find my new YouTube page. I would greatly appreciate it. I put it on Facebook. I put it on the EOP page. I put it literally everywhere, guys. But yes, we've got it up to 100, over 100. Let's see if we can get to 200 by the week's end. That would be great. Good morning, Duck. How are you this morning? Hope you are well. Let me just star that stuff so I know. Little G, what is up? Hope you're good. Yeah, Phillies. We don't know who we're playing yet. We'll know tomorrow who the Phillies are playing. We'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. What's up, K1? You missed a fun, spirited Sixers and Phillies conversation with a little Eagles mixed in yesterday, and the breaking news that EOP is coming to an end. So we're going to talk a little Eagles today. We're going to talk a little Sixers and Phillies today. And then, of course, we will talk with Josh Davis from the Philly Special YouTube channel at about 9 a.m. for a good 20, 25 minutes to get his takes on Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and everything else that we talk about today. But we do have to talk about optics as well. Good morning, Mike. Like I said, make sure you click the link that you see in the chat, in the group chat, or the YouTube chat to find the STT Sports Network page. Make sure you do that because at the end of this week, this group chat or this chat will be gone on EOP, my man. So, guys, I wake up this morning and I was all prepared. Yeah, me and you both, Mike. Me and you both. Woke up this morning with a plan on where to start, where to start the conversation today. And, I wake up and I'm paging through Twitter as I'm having my coffee and the first coffee. I'm on my second coffee now. Paging through Twitter, and I see these mic'd up videos of Mike Evans. And you know what? Since I'm not a monetized YouTube page anymore, I don't care about it. So I'm just going to share out what I got to share out. So I don't care about, content violations at this point. So I'm going to share them in a minute for you. We see a video of Darius Slay, a video of Avonte Maddox, and a video of Quinyon Mitchell chit-chatting with Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Mike Evans was mic'd up for the game. Oh, my God, guys. If you have not seen these videos, it is the biggest, from two of them, gross negligence there can humanly be. Like, seriously. I'm going to play them in a second. But Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox are not acting or looking like two individuals that give one rat's ass about what's going on. Like, I am in utter shock about how lighthearted they take a game, in a game that they are getting destroyed on defense, going one-on-one with Mike Evans. I wonder if they even knew that Mike Evans was mic'd up. It's kind of like one of those things with a cop. Like, I would hope they would have said it. You can't trap me like that. But let's just play some of these videos here. I am going to, hold on. I got to mute that first. I got to do my share screen thingamabobber here next. But just watch this video here, okay? This is of Darius Slay. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Hopefully this comes through well for you guys. Just watch this video here.
Please don't. Bro, you're 12, man. Congratulations, bro, on everything.
Hey,
I'm 1 year behind you. We've been playing against each other since college, bro.
What is this?
You're the same, dude.
Please don't.
Do you think that they look like two guys that are battling for a victory or a game? Like
I'm 1 year behind you.
All right. You want to tell me I'm wrong that he should not be on Micah Parsons' podcast? Fine. But you can't be best friends with a guy in this situation. Like, you're getting your ass whooped out on the field. How in the world is this okay? Let me tell you something. Eagles Twitter is going to blow up about this today. Here's one of Quinyon Mitchell. Totally different.
I've been on you all day, Club. How many catches you got? You got one catch, you got to win.
All right.
At least there's a little competition here.
You know I am, right? No, I do not.
At least Quinyon Mitchell has got a little fight, a little dog, and a little energy in him.
Yeah, that means you got more juice.
And even Mike Evans, he's got juice out there.
You easy.
Like, seriously. Like, in what world, and I don't have the Avonte Maddox one queued up, but Avonte Maddox is out there after getting beat on a play, asking if he still plays Fortnite. So, again, I ask you, optics of this team. This is ridiculous, is it not? Like, Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie, energy, etc. Avonte Maddox, Darius Slay, don't give a rat's ass. It's ridiculous. I believe in him, but can Jalen Hurts be fixed? We're going to get into Jalen Hurts in a little bit because I got a long list of things I want to discuss with Jalen Hurts. Good morning, Jim. How you doing? It's not okay. I love Mitchell's energy. Yeah, it's not okay. So a part of the conversation was today, Seth Joyner on one of his appearances yesterday brought up that, he's so pissed off of the way Slay's been acting lately that he would sit Slay and he would start going with the young guys. Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo, Cooper DeJean, even Eli Ricks and whatnot, sit the vets that don't really give a shit, okay? And I was like, I don't know about that. Then I wake up this morning and see this. Like, what the hell are we doing here, people? Like, whose fault is this? Is it the player's fault? Is it Nick Sirianni's fault? Is it has Vic Fangio's tough style already pissed off some of the veterans on this team? Like, there's so many areas to blame. And yes, we all love talking about Jalen Hurts and bashing Jalen Hurts. But this defense is as much to blame, if not more, for some of this team's struggles going forward. And it's kind of frustrating at this point. Extremely frustrating at this point. The Bucs game brought to the surface a major issue with leadership from coaches down. Absolutely, Duck. 100%. Who is the leader of this defense? Who is the leader on this team, period? Who is holding players accountable on this team. Fletcher Cox isn't there. Jason Kelsey isn't there. Like the loss of the players, Kelsey and Cox, Kelsey hasn't been that big of a loss because, Cam Jurgens has been playing well, but the leadership's not there. Cam Jurgens can't become the instant leader of this team. Jalen Carter isn't there yet because he still takes plays off and games off. The leadership loss of Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey has been a massive, massive, massive issue so far with this team. We need DeJean in there. Maddox is so washed. Come on, you're 1,000% right. 1,000% right. Cooper DeJean should be playing more. Cooper DeJean should be the number one go-to guy at this point in the slot. And hold on, let me pull my notes and get how he exactly said it, because talked about it a little bit yesterday because of Vic Fangio speaking on Tuesday. Where's my Cooper DeJean notes? He's closing in on being ready. But then he followed it up saying Maddox has been fine. He might want a few plays back, but he's been fine. So on one hand, Vic Fangio is making it seem like Cooper might be there. But on the other hand, like, what's Vic Fangio watching? Trying to, you're willing to say negative things about the young players, but the vet players, you don't say anything negative. You don't hold them accountable. What Cooper DeJean is ready for now can't be as bad as what Avonte Maddox and Darius Slay are giving you. Slay is 90% cooked. It may be an accurate statement. It really may be. There is a strong chance that Avonte Maddox is, or Slay and Avonte Maddox are cooked. Look, I said it before the season, Peanut, that I didn't think Avonte Maddox should have been a lock to make this team. There's a reason why the Eagles said, go test free agency. Nobody wanted him. So he came back and signed a minimum contract. Now, the first cut when Sidney Brown comes back will be Devin White to open up a roster spot, in my opinion. But there's a scenario where Maddox can get cut, that Slay can get benched. Like I said, sometimes Seth Joyner comes off as a disgruntled girlfriend when he's talking because he wants to be the defense coordinator, but he's not the defensive coordinator. And no one's made him a defensive coordinator. But sometimes Seth Joyner says things and you're like, I don't know. And then you see this follow-up and you're like, Seth Joyner might be right. So maybe it is time to play the young guys. Maybe it is. There's no accountability from leadership. They have accountability is a great, great word to use here, Jim. Great word. Because there is no accountability. Who's holding the players responsible? It's not the coaches. The captains aren't doing it. Who are the captains again on this team? Darius Slay's one of them. He's not doing his job. Out there goofing around with the guy that's whooping your ass is not how you set the tone for a very young defense. I think Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell and all these young guys, Nolan Smith, think when their captain, captain, my captain, is out there goofing around with the opponent. All right, you want to say it's okay for them to go on each other's podcasts? Okay. But on the field, when you're doing battle and you're getting smoked, have some pride. And it's kind of getting annoying at this point. Cameron says, Slay is straight goofy. I see why Patricia didn't like him. Yeah, maybe Patricia was right on Darius Slay. We've turned on Darius Slay really fast in the city. I ain't going to lie. The defense is way more to blame. Offense is top 10. Defense is 32nd. The defense was bad last year. I think last year it was like 30th. It's gotten worse, the defense. It really has. I warned y'all about Vic Fangio. I warned y'all about his style of playing. I did. I warned y'all. If you can't get to the quarterback with 4 and won't blitz and can't tackle, you basically listed everything that the defense does and doesn't do. Everything a defense should do, and the Eagles do none of it. Like the tackling. Tackling comes from discipline, fundamentals, accountability. The Eagles have none of that, so they're not going to tackle. Well, there was a play that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson along the goal line on Sunday had a chance to stop a run up the middle. I don't think it ended up in a touchdown. I think it ended up in a first down along the goal line, though. And he literally turned his back and leaned away because he didn't want contact. Your sole job is to tackle Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And he didn't want to tackle. Why? Because there's no accountability. There's no leadership. There's no discipline on the defense. Avante is terrible, can't cover, and he can't tackle. If DeJean can't do it, then find someone on another team. I don't understand. I understood maybe week 1, week 2, because he missed a bunch of camp, Cooper DeJean. But we're into the bye week now. It's week 5 of the NFL season. If Cooper DeJean is not a massive part of the defense in week 6, then we got to really, really, truly question what Vic Fangio is doing out there and how and why he's making the decisions he's making. Because it's just not working at this point. Slay is on his podcast advertisement tour this year. Maddox's injuries have caught up with him, and Sirianni's coaching has been exposed. It's time to hit the soft reset. Exactly. That last word, soft reset. Everyone's like, we got to strip it down and start all over again. You don't got to do that, guys. There's a lot of talent on this team still. But there might be a conversation to be had with what you're doing. Someone mentioned to me on Twitter, I think it was Tim Sullivan from PSN. Like, do you just move on from Nick Sirianni and just promote Kellen Moore? Because obviously Nick Sirianni has not taken his hands off the offense as much as he led on in the offseason. And that's part of maybe the offensive struggles is that Kellen Moore is being held back from running his offense. Maybe that is part of the problem. But that's another conversation. There was a video from Fox the Gambler, Sean Bryce and crew over there, talking about, or they had a snapshot of Bill Belichick at the Philadelphia airport. Everybody was freaking out about, Bill Belichick must have been in town to talk to Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. That's obviously not what it was, guys. It had literally had nothing to do with the Eagles, Bill Belichick being here. It was 100% to do with the fact that a lot of people come to Philly for NFL films and stuff like that. So Bill Belichick wasn't here in town to interview for an Eagles job or anything. But maybe it is time to think about Kellen Moore. Maybe. I'm not sold on it, but maybe. I wouldn't get upset about it at this point because fundamentals, discipline, accountability, leadership starts at the top. And there is none of it. None of it. And that is a major issue. Kellen is running his offense. Jalen isn't executing it well so far. I'm trying to think of a fair way to respond to this. Because I think if you look at what Kellen Moore has done, K1, in the past to what he's doing this year, there are elements of what he's done in the past, but there's elements in Nick Sirianni's offense still mixed in there. And Nick Sirianni has blatantly said that he does this and that. And he said when he was interviewed the other day, what was it, the Monday after the press conference, I got to go multiple pages back. Shoot, where was my Nick Sirianni press conference notes? There they are. He said he was asked about if he's ever in the room with Vic Fangio game plan. He says he's involved a little bit to go over it, but he's very busy working on the offensive game plan, so he's not there all the time. So if you're supposed to be letting Kellen Moore drive the car, but yet you're in there helping design the game plan. So I think that there's still too much influence from Nick Sirianni on the offense. On a side note, Kellen Moore's offense, if you go back to his time at Dallas, what was the Dak Prescott biggest criticism from Cowboys fans? That if you try to look objectively at it, that Dak Prescott was too much of a gunslinger when he should be a game manager under Kellen Moore. He put up a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, but he threw a lot of interceptions as well. So maybe Kellen Moore is part of the problem with Jalen Hurts continuing to be a gunslinger. Just gonna say, I don't want people to think that I don't like Kellen Moore or that I like Kellen Moore. I'm kind of on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's had talent on other teams, and he's been good, not great. But Nick Sirianni, I hate to break it, may have just flat out lost this team at this point. Kellen calls the plays, but the plays come from Nick's play sheet. That sounds awful lot like Brian Johnson last year. And I know he's not the offensive coordinator in Washington, but Washington's offense is humming along pretty good with Brian Johnson in the offensive room, offensive office, offensive meetings. We knew the defense was average at best, and I thought Sirianni had no power anymore. Remember, we talked about Sirianni, the CEO, all offseason. Yet it kind of seems like he's not a CEO. Like it really sounds like, the complete opposite. It's kind of crazy how quickly that's changed. Good morning, Joe. How you doing today? Truthfully, with AJ out, it really shows you that this offense runs through him and Hurts. Trust AJ the most. The dude deserves the flowers, and it shows. Yeah. I mean, is it outlandish to say that because of all the other contracts that have been signed to wide receivers, that AJ Brown might be the most underpaid, underrated wide receiver in football? I mean, our offense has come to a screeching halt since he's been out. Screeching halt. Just throwing that out there. Also, Devontae Smith out. Lane Johnson, Brendan Deek put out some great tweets yesterday. Stats this year so far with Lane Johnson in. Pressure rate is 26.6. With him out of the game, 43.5. The sack percentage is 5.6% with him in the game, 11.6% out. Of course, Sunday was going to be a problem without Lane Johnson playing. Hopefully he is back for week 6. There's no guarantee at this point that Hurts would play better with any head coach or offense coordinator. That's true. But again, so Barb and a few others had seen, I did post a show late last night on the STT Sports Network. The Eagles checked out. So basically what's going on is I'm doing a show for Shane Haff and Johnny Page and all them on their Pinpool Podcast Network. It's on their Spotify and their Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcast. So I recorded at night and it drops early in the morning on their, podcast network. So for more content for my new YouTube page, I uploaded the video. So that's what that short little 9-minute video is. Every single night you'll see about 11 o'clock. It's kind of like a tease of the next day here on Trending in the AM, talking about things Eagles related. It's only Eagles related. It's less than 10 minutes long. Another reason to subscribe to the STT Sports Network. So I don't take comments or anything like that. But I talked about it on the show last night and on the podcast stream this morning about where are the easy throws for Jalen Hurts. If you go back, and Shane Haff did it on his All-22 breakdown, you look at the first offensive play for the Eagles on Sunday against the Bucs. It was 5 curl routes all in the same direction, or all in the same area. You had 3 this way and 2 this way. Where was the pressure on the defense? You've got to design. You can't let Jalen Hurts be a gunslinger. You can't let Jalen Hurts be Superman. You can't tug on Superman's cape. You've got to divide as an offense that utilizes what Jalen Hurts does well. You've got to help Jalen Hurts manage the game and manage your expectations. You're not setting Jalen Hurts up for success at this point. You're not utilizing Saquon Barkley. Where are the easy throws for him? You run 5 curl routes to 6 defenders. Nobody's open. So Jalen Hurts is forced to improvise and play hero ball. And he makes a bad throw down the sideline to Saquon Barkley. That is not setting Jalen Hurts up for success. So part of it is on Jalen Hurts. But if you go back and rewatch in slow motion that first play, there was no play for him to run. So that's the problem. Especially, maybe those 5 curl routes work when you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson out there. But when you got Johanna Dotson, Johnny Wilson, and Paris Campbell running the routes, what do you expect? Seriously. Jalen Hurts isn't taking the reins as a team leader. And I think this is a bigger issue for me with Jalen Hurts. Great quarterbacks elevate the offense. Everyone is right when they say he is a system-based quarterback. So run an effing system is exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm not making excuses for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been massively inconsistent again, turns the ball over again way too much. But you're putting him in a position that he has to do that, where he has to play hero ball, where he has to, play, out of his comfort zone. And the defense is putting him in position as well. When you're down 14-0 and you've run 3 offensive plays that were bound to fail, what do you expect? You can't expect perfection from Jalen Hurts when everybody else around him is failing, from the coaches on down. No, I've watched that play like 7 times, okay? At least 7 times. He did not have Goddard open. There might have been a 300th of a second, but by the time Jalen Hurts would have released that ball and it got to Goddard, that would have been broken up or intercepted. So, no. And I do not think Johnny Wilson was even remotely open on that play. Because by the time he would have gotten to the Johnny Wilson, the first read was to Dallas Goedert. And there was a linebacker or a safety literally 2 feet behind him. So it would have taken a Brett Favre or Josh Allen type cannon of a throw to even remotely get it there before the defender got to Dallas Goedert. And Johnny Wilson was not open. And with the pressure coming, because you didn't have Lane Johnson out there, by the time he would have gotten to Johnny Wilson in the progression, it wasn't open, and he was flushed out of the pocket. So I wouldn't say that. What's up, my man? Is the Eagles' problem with coaching or personnel? It's both. The coaching is a problem. The personnel, Howie Roseman is a problem. And maybe we'll talk a little Howie Roseman being the issue tomorrow. Nick Farrier will be joining us tomorrow. Howie Roseman is not getting enough. All his decisions, a lot of his decisions this offseason have not worked. And the people he's put out there, maybe Howie Roseman's decisions were right and the personnel are just not executing. It's a huge combination of issues, guys, all across the board. And again, as I'm going to continue to flood the comment section with my new YouTube channel link, guys, I'd greatly appreciate you guys clicking the link I put in the chat there and find my new YouTube page, STT Sports Network. I'd greatly appreciate it. Lane Johnson played the last 10 games last season, and the same thing occurred with Hurts, though. Yes, because you're not designing an offense. You're not building an offense to enunciate what he can and can't do. Plus, when there's mixed messages coming from Sirianni, coming from Kellen Moore, coming from Howie Roseman, coming from this guy, coming from that guy, what do you expect? Yes, he's got to be better. He's got to be a more vocal leader. He's got to be a lot of things. Absolutely does. That was an easy throw to go. I don't think it was an easy throw. I've watched because of the Eagles pinpole recording. I watched that play in slow motion literally like 7 times. If there was not that, there was a defender right behind Goddard. I can't remember if it was a safety or I never even took notice whether it was a safety or a linebacker. I was because my eyes went there, K1. My eyes went to that Goddard, route right away. And that was the read. And he looked right at Dallas Goedert. Okay? And he didn't pull the trigger. So maybe maybe I'm the same problem that Jalen Hurts is. Because what Jalen Hurts saw was that there was a defender. I saw that defender. Maybe you guys think he could have made that throw, but I didn't think he could make that throw personally. I thought that throw was covered. So maybe me and Jalen Hurts are wrong in this situation. But to me, it wasn't. Nick was coddled his players for too long. Yeah. I mean, we started this whole show off, Marshawn. You're a little late, and make sure you find the STT Sports Network, Marshawn, if you haven't subscribed. You did subscribe to it yesterday. You're still watching on EOP, though, which is fine for today and tomorrow. We talked about it. Did you see, Marshawn, the video of Darius Slay? Did you see the video of Avonte Maddox goofing off with Mike Evans on the field? At least Quinyon Mitchell's out there saying, yo, bro, I got you. How many did you catch against me? The others just don't care. The veterans of this team have completely given up already in 4 weeks, especially on defense. Why did he get replaced at Alabama? Because he got injured. He got injured, and Tua took over and led them to the championship game. And Nick Saban said Tua is our guy going forward. That is why he got replaced. Okay, he didn't get replaced because of bad play. He got hurt, plain and simple. Greg Cassell on the Inside the Birds today talked about how Sirianni designs easy throws for Purdy to get him into a rhythm. There you go. See, this is what you do. And I talked about this on the Pinpole Podcast Network this morning. Set him up for success. Get Jalen Hurts in a rhythm. Make easy throws. Where are the easy throws? Okay? Set him up for success. And then he gets into a rhythm, and then he can start blowing the top off of a defense. But you got to get him into a rhythm. You got to make some easy plays for him. Okay, so maybe it was a timing throw. And maybe before Dallas Goedert even got to the spot to do the curl, he should have already thrown it. And in that case, yes, K1, in that case, it might have been a completion. But again, timing throws are not Jalen Hurts' strength. Jalen Hurts is not great at those timing throws. So why call a play at the start of a game when it's a play that doesn't work? Jalen Hurts has to be better. 1,000%, K1. 1,000%. But in what scenario are we setting him up for success? Sometimes it is on the coaches to do that. Stop. There's always an excuse for Jalen. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm telling you it's a problem. It's never it is his fault, but it's also other people's fault. And I've said this at least 1,000 times this week that Brian Johnson is doing wonders in Washington. Phillies begin their championship run on Saturday. Yes, Phillies still don't know their opponent. Braves lost. I guess it wasn't the bye week that caused the Braves to lose the last 2 years. The Tigers won their series in 2 games. Matt Vierling is surprisingly having a great run for the Tigers this year. Shout out to my man Jason, whose team is finally in the playoffs and winning. Royals won, but the Mets Brewers are tied 1-1. They'll play again today for the right to play the Phillies on Saturday. Confidence meter on those Phillies. I had some Phillies notes written down for today. But yeah, we get too jacked up on Eagles talk to talk Phillies. I'm thinking about doing a Phillies game watch along right here on the STT Sports Network, Rick, on Sunday. The game's on at 4. I could put the game on the TV there. I could talk to you guys while we watch Phillies baseball. Thinking about doing that on Sunday. I don't know if anybody would join me. I just went on YouTube to try to find your show. Didn't see it. Well, I put the link in the Facebook. So go through the comments on Facebook, Rick. You should see a link to the Trending in the AM STT Sports Network YouTube page. That's where it is. Or I'll DM it to you after the show at that weight. At $250 million, that shit better be a throw he completes. What's $250 million, okay, Marshawn? It's like the 9th highest paid quarterback in football, which is average, okay? So he's getting paid what an average quarterback makes, I guess. They were 5 yards behind. I don't think so. Man, are you going to make me try to spend 5 minutes on my show digging through Shane Half's Twitter page to find this play? Let's see if I could do it quickly or not. Shane Half throws so many highlight reels on his Twitter page. It would take me a long time to find. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, is this it? Nope, that's the fumble. That's not it. That's not it. You know what? Forget this. There are way too many things. I will find the video, and I'll have it queued up for tomorrow, okay? K1, the first throw queue up. I got it. I got it saved, okay, written down. I'll find it for tomorrow. Hurts is having a problem because the Eagles can't keep a consistent OC. 5 offensive coordinators in his last 6 years as a football player or a system in place. There are few teams that have just consistently lost their OC and DC so much in the last 5 years. I think that's a fair conversation to have as well. Stevie Fuentes, my man, says fire Sirianni, hire Mike Vrabel. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know if I buy Mike Vrabel as this elite head coach as some do. I mean, he has been good. He is a disciplinarian, but what's he ever won? But he's a good coach. He would at least hold his team accountable. No Phillies talk today. Game 3 of Brewers and Mets today is best case for Phillies. Absolutely agree. Get them relievers worn out 100%. I ask again, so I've got a poll on Twitter. Why are Phillies fans so scared of the Mets? And I did it. 3 options. Mets are the hottest team in baseball because you lack confidence in the Phillies or you're not scared. So far, 32% say it's because the Mets are hot. 13% say they're not confident in the Phillies. And 54% say they're not scared of the Mets. So it's really interesting where Phillies Nation is. Trey saying, I missed Dougie P. We played next man up ball. We're making excuses for personnel now. It wasn't none of that Super Bowl year. We shouldn't change a whole offense because people are out. People need to know all the offense so we can keep. Hey, all fair comments. I don't know if I missed Dougie P. I kind of feel like Dougie P might be a one-hit wonder at this point because, you know, he's bombing out in Jacksonville pretty quickly. Jalen Hurts does not seem to have a great football IQ. That may be the case, honestly, Rick. That may be a question to discuss. I went down the rabbit hole. My simple conclusion is Nick Sirianni. Hurts does not respect him. I think that there's a true issue between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni at least takes the bullets. Jalen Hurts has had opportunities to show support towards Nick Sirianni, and he refuses literally 100 times to show his support, which is crazy that they brought Nick Sirianni back. When you're paying $250 million to one guy, and I don't know what Nick Sirianni is making, it's not $250 million, not even close, why you wouldn't have cut ties at that point? Because there's obviously, you can't have a confident quarterback if he doesn't. You have to believe in your leaders. The offense has to believe in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has to believe in Nick Sirianni. And when you don't believe in the guy, it's very hard. My man Brian, what is up? We are a few days away from going 8 under on 9 holes. Cassell was also the one who talked about the opening play. Okay, well, I mean, I've watched it. It's becoming abundantly clear that Jalen Hurts will not win a Super Bowl here. Well, that will be a heartbreaker. I will tell you. It's going to be a heartbreaker. Then Jalen needs to get good at timing throws. Well, yeah. And you're right in saying, K1. Is it like the Twilight Zone? I'm saying you're right, K1. You are right in saying that if you're making $250 million, you got to be able to make all the throws. You are. The first scripted plays seem to be there to test the other team instead of getting the team comfortable and settled. That's a coaching issue. The scripted plays, and Kellen Moore spoke about that in his press conference. And he was asked, about it, and should he pivot off the scripted plays a little quicker? And he kind of like just deflected, typical coach talk, and didn't really answer that question. Guys, make sure you're staying locked in. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button. I put the link to the STT Sports Network in the chats. So make sure you click that and find that, guys. Going forward, that's where the show will be most of the time. Stay tuned because in about 20, 25 minutes, Josh Davis of the Philly Special, 75,000 subscribers strong, will be joining us to talk Eagles here. So stay locked in, guys. He moved the ball well the first 3 games, but then the inevitable turnover happens. Yeah. Last time this team was any good was when we had an OC in DC for more than 1 season. Truth. The problem with being good is people poach your coaches. Look at Hurts' numbers this year compared to Andy Dalton's, who has played less games. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. All right? Instead of trying to hit Saquon 30 yards downfield, how about first play, I'll throw to Saquon in the flat? I think there was a throw to Saquon in the flat. It just wasn't open. There were 5 curl routes. Well, 3 curl routes and 2 out curl routes from running backs. They had 2 running backs in the backfield on that first play. All the plays were pretty much covered, in my humble opinion. Agreed, Duck. No continuity on the... Continuity is important. The only continuity lately has been Nick Sirianni. And that's not good. And a lot of guys have gone on. Like, we couldn't wait to get Jim Schwartz out of here. Jim Schwartz has done well. Jonathan Gannon hasn't done great, but he's not a total disaster. Shane Steichen has semi-flourished. Some of the others, Brian Johnson's obviously flourishing here. Good morning, Adam. How are you? The Braves are out. Again, like I said earlier, Adam, I guess the Braves can't use the first-round bye as their excuse for why they ain't in the playoffs still. Well, that's a shame. Sirianni is the problem. I would not be surprised if he's interfering with Moore and Fangio in the background to feel like he has some control over his team. I really am starting to feel that this whole Sirianni CEO role thing is either A, failing because he won't do it, or B, was just a smokescreen to keep him around, and he still has full control. And if that's the case and they don't fire Sirianni at the end of the season, Kellen Moore will just walk away. Please do the watch along. All right, but you got to be watching right here on the STT Sports Network, Rich. I've put it in the comments. I think you're on the EOP YouTube page right now. I will do a Phillies watch along on Sunday as long as I get out of work on time, which I think I'm going to try to get out by like 3. I'll put it on. We'll do a Phillies watch along. We'll have some fun. We'll drink some beers. We'll watch Phillies baseball, and we'll have a good time talking baseball, okay? When you get new coordinators, it is way less likely coordinators and GMs are on the same page. That's how you get Bryce Huffs and Namdi's square pegs and round holes. Yeah, I don't think we talk enough about Howie Roseman and all his misses this offseason so far. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson leading the league in missed tackles. Bryce Huff, 3 pressures on over 70 plays in 4 games. I mean, it's not good. Man, you guys have already convinced me that Nick Sirianni's got to go. I'm not sure I'm ready to admit that it was a mistake on Jalen Hurts yet. You got to give me baby steps, Marshawn. Baby steps to convince me that everything is bad, okay? You got to give me baby steps, okay? But the cater to the offense around Jalen. But here we go with the I don't think they cater the offense around him. That's the problem. Hire Bill Belichick. I don't think that's the answer. He was in Philly yesterday, so they had the opportunity if they wanted to. He was in Philly doing some recordings for NFL films, so they could have. They didn't, though. Jalen stinks. Jalen Hurts stinks. Mitchie Poo. Where's the subscriber count at this point? We entered the show at 119. Told you we had to get to 169 if you want me to not call you Mitchie Poo anymore this week. All right, 2 days to get to 169. Let's go. We gained 28 subscribers yesterday. Can we gain another 28 subscribers today? Phil, you seen the clips of Q? We started the talk off with this, okay? We started the show off, Brian, with this conversation. Again, Brian, I put the link to my new YouTube channel in the chat box. So page up, find the new YouTube channel, click subscribe on that, okay? Because that's where we will be for YouTube going forward next week. Avante and Slay are just get rid of them. Like, there's no care in the world for them, okay? They don't give a crap. Q, at least, is fighting. There is some dog in him. And Mike Evans was even on the sideline saying, yo, that rookie, man. Yeah, he's got some fight. The optics are bad on the defense right now. Todd says, Kellen Moore should use Barkley more and stop trying to showcase. Absolutely. Where's the Saquon Barkley usage? Where? So why are the Phillies even matched up against Mets or Brewers? Dodgers are number 1 seed. Yeah, that's the argument that you should reseed after each round of the playoffs. Baseball doesn't do that. It's just the way it is. I'm not the commissioner, so I don't have any say on that. How many quarterbacks you know can't throw rolling right? I don't know who it was. I was watching one video clip of that, and it wasn't the Shane Half one, but saying that most quarterbacks can't make that throw. And I thought that was a little bogus, and you're right on that, Marshawn. Rolling right for a right-handed quarterback, throwing deep down the field should be pretty easy. Now, rolling to your left as a right-handed quarterback should be hard. But rolling to your right and throwing downfield should not have been that far off target like it was. That was pretty weak in my humble opinion. Is it just me, or is Sirianni looking more and more like a rat? He's looking more and more like a Fredo. I'm smart. I know things. Yeah, he might be Fredo. Just living on his past victories and not working on new ones. Trying to hold on. He's trying to hang around with that unbridled enthusiasm. Sirianni was only hired because Lurie was all in on Hurts, and no other coach would agree to those terms. I'm just thinking about the coaches that were interviewed in that process. It was Dabble. It was, I don't know if Joe Brady was one of them or not that year. I know McDaniels was one of them. McDaniels, I thought, was going to be the guy, and then he walked. I'm trying to think. There's 4 or 5 guys that were in that circle, and then Nick Sirianni just came out of nowhere and swooped in and took the job because his second interview was so good. How many of you guys says I got to be better every week? How many of you know says I got to be better every week? Well, everybody does need to be better. That guy has a chance to Hamels his way to a ring. Hell of a redemption story for former Phillies farmhand AJ Hinch. Look, how about Matt Vierling? The dude played well for the Tigers this year. 57 RBIs, played in 144 games, had a 750 OPS. We could have used Matt Vierling in the outfield this year. Jalen Hurts is not good. Not sure why people don't get that. Because twice now he's been almost to MVP, a top 3 MVP candidate. I think the pocket presence thing is a little bit of a discussion, but I also think a little bit of when you see the bad pocket presence, there are excuses. There are. I didn't know it was going to be a hit Howie. Didn't know it was going to be a hit Howie. We might have to talk some Howie Roseman this week. If you haven't noticed that after 20 plays, the offense seems more relaxed and plays better. Yeah, those prescriptive plays. I just thought it was going to be something in it for me. I get what you're saying. I get the Howie. I didn't know it was going to be a hit, Howie. I got you. It took me a second to register. We were talking. I'm behind. AOL Instant Messenger coming from my past. I don't even know who that is, but coming from my past. I love that. Good morning, Brian. Fix the Eagles. Fire Nick yesterday. Bring in a coach that can work to bring out skills. No, bring in respect and discipline. I think we could get past the Jalen Hurts issues if you could just add some discipline to this team. Daniel Jones has less interceptions than Jalen Hurts. Mitch, just go. Bye-bye. Don't give me that coordinator shit. Yeah. I'm going to. Pick up Chubb for fantasy. Really? Oh, it's TMZ. It's got to be TMC in the AOL Instant Messenger name. It's got to be. It's got to be. This team has 3 sports cars, and we chose to fault them instead of the driver. Thank you, pain in the ass when you're from Scotland. Yeah. Thumbs this up. Please watch along gang. Yeah, everybody wants to watch along. We'll do a watch along this weekend if I can. You can't keep blaming coaching when your quarterback operates in slow motion. He does look like he is operating in slow motion sometimes out there. That is for sure, Brian. Bad offense or bad defense plus turnovers equals sports talk gold. Yes. This Eagles season is 2-2. It is not over. They have the easiest strength of schedule the rest of the way. But this season, the way it's gone is sports talk gold. Gold, Jerry. It's gold. All right. Didn't Howie get you a bona fide wide receiver 3? And he ain't getting used. He's got 5 catches with A.J. Brown missing 3 games. How Jahan Dotson isn't being used, I have no idea. Sirianni by week 4. Well, week 4 is over. Not sure if Big Bill would be a good fit. He would not. TMZ. Changing your name on. Oh, that's AOL is TMZ. Hurts needs to play game manager ball. Take away the defense gives you the first. Just give the ball to Saquon Barkley. Can we please have a game where Saquon does not have 10 rushes in an entire game? Yeah. Well, I made a deal with him. He could be Mitch Koff forever if we get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. He could be Mitch Koff once a day for this month if we get to 169 by the end of next week. So I don't know if we've gained any new ones yet. Belichick is a control freak. Yeah, he would never survive in Philly as a control freak. Norke, do you see Dallas? Do you see Jerry Jones rolling into practice in his helicopter, landing his helicopter on the field? Tell me that Jerry Jones doesn't give a shit about football anymore after watching that video. Like, it's literally ludicrous that Jerry Jones, like, we might have our problems in Philly. At least Jeffrey Lurie isn't landing his helicopter in the middle of the field of practice. Let's go Phillies. Damn straight, Big Al. Damn freaking straight. Avant and Mikel were destroying pretty much everyone on defense on their last show. I have totally forgot about that. I used to listen to their show all the time last year. Totally forgot about it this year. I'm going to have to go back and listen to some of that show there in the coming days because they do a good job there. The defense is such a problem. But because Jalen Hurts' turnovers, K1, is crossing over. But when I watch those, when I wake up to videos of Avonte Maddox chatting after plays with Mike Evans about, oh, you still play Fortnite? Oh, we got to get together and play some. Dude, the word of optics this week has gotten blown out of control because of the defense. Because the veterans on this defense don't give a shit. No give a shit at all. At all. Don't quarterback one check to a run game based on the defense. Depends on how much check down he's allowed to do. Maybe. Belichick is totally finished. Yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. I don't think he should be a coach anywhere anymore, but he could be a coach of the Cowboys. That'd be fine by me. Jalen is the sister Corleone of this team. Michael, I'd like to stay closer to the home now. Howie is a power-hungry guy with basically no football knowledge. He's a bookkeeper. See, I disagree a little bit with that, Barb. Howie's been in football for 20-plus years now. He knows a little bit about football now. Yes, he misses. He makes mistakes, et cetera, et cetera. But on the flip side, he still makes a lot of mistakes as well. He doesn't get on the same page with his coaches as well. Quarterback one has been on that. It stares with me shit, Brian, because he was an almost MVP and outplayed Mahomes in a game we lost. Oh man, Phil, I can't count almost awards. All right. I'm just saying, it's not like he wasn't good at stretches. Second place MVP in 2022. Last year, he was the favorite through 12 weeks to win the MVP before the collapse. Fred Johnson gave up 11 pressures at people saying Jalen didn't have good pocket awareness. Fred Johnson, while he filled in great mid-game in week 3 as the starter for the full game, Anthony, last week, Fred Johnson got smoked and exposed. Haven't heard one person complain about Fred Johnson this week, and great job on pulling the 11 pressures. Yeah, I know. I picked up on it pretty quickly. So we bring in nuns for a coaching staff. These are grown men who needs discipline. You do. It's football. We know you need discipline as a football player. There go that phantom knee injury again. Just like Devontae Adams has got a phantom hammy injury all of a sudden, right? Yeah, the team is looking like Sirianni. A ton of lip service and underserved swagger with little or no discipline. Tell me in what world does it, make sense? Or in what world in former Eagles history would what Avonte Maddox and Darius Slay have done during the game last week and throughout the week this week? When does that happen? Huh? Lots of coaches, only few quarterbacks in the world. I appreciate it. My personal YouTube page should be commenting on it. Should be good. Maybe you got to be logged in to comment. You got to be logged into your YouTube page to comment, I think. I don't know. Here we go with Anthony M., the minister of the Church of Jalen. Hey, I'm on the side with Anthony, so don't be getting on Anthony. Anthony's my guy. He's the only one that got me. The worst part is Dotson is open. Yeah, there's a definite disconnect there between Hurts and Dotson, too. I don't know if it's a trust thing or what. Doesn't like or trust. I don't know. Like, how long does it take to build confidence in a new wide receiver? This is not week 1 anymore, Duck. So is it on Jalen? Is it on Dotson? Is it on both? I don't know. Q&A. Yeah, absolutely it is. It was last year. I don't know why I totally forgot about their show this week or this year. I've just been all over the place this year. I am not a hater. Jara Jones looking for all the wrong measurements. Yeah. So is Greg Sell shows. Yeah, there's a lot of great shows out there for sure. Jalen Hurts got that. Oh, my God. It's a good thing I don't have to read that. Man. They are pure football shows unless talking heads BS. Yeah, absolutely. That's a different show than this. This is more your show. The people's show. They're more the host show. This is the people's show. That's what I'm going to call this. Training AM, the people's show. The fans show. I'm the people's champ. You guys are the people, okay? I'm not a Glazier. Phil, I would love Belichick as the Cowboys head coach. Yeah, exactly. Let him go there and continue to screw that up. Did you see the Baldy breakdown, the huff on the Jets versus huff on the Birds? Yes, that was 2 weeks ago. I think he put that video out. Totally different defensive scheme. And that's on Vic Fangio, using him in a way that does not fit his skill set. Okay? You got to put your players in a position to succeed, Nooms. You got to. Yeah. It did. I'm crying on the inside, okay? I'm crying. I'm smiling on the outside, but I'm crying on the inside. Shit got to be perfect for quarterback 1 to win. But doesn't shit got to be perfect, Marshawn, for every quarterback 1 to win? Josh Allen hasn't won anything yet. Lamar Jackson hasn't won anything yet. Joe Burrow hasn't won anything yet. And shit's not perfect for Joe Burrow, and look how they're doing this year. Lamar Jackson, they started 0-2 this year. That's all I'm saying. Josh Allen just got smoked by 25. Just saying, shit's got to be perfect for every quarterback to win, okay? Not just Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts does not have a level of urgency, and that is correct, and I will get on that. He was like this in college. He was never improved. Did you notice Barkley missing blitz pickup? I did not notice that. I'll have to go try to find that. When Smith back, hopefully after the bye week in week 6. Dotson Hurts timing may be the issue. Is it timing? Trust? I don't know. No play Slay is setting up his post-playing career. It does sound like that, Nooms. It really does. So if he the Eagles fire Nick, who's your pick to take over? I don't know. At this point, maybe you just bump up Kellen Moore now. Next year, I'll have to see. I mean, you got Slowick, the guy Sowick from Houston. You got Ben Johnson in Detroit. There's got a lot of good young offensive coordinators that could be head coaches. Mike Vrabel's a name people are going to mention over and over again. Bill Belichick. I don't know at this point. You're not my champ until you say Jalen Hurts stinks. I'm not. See, I just said it by reading your comment. I said it. I didn't mean it. I was just reading your comment, just so you know. Finally, the DC Defenders making some the DC Defenders trying to sneak a UFL comment in here. Trying to sneak that UFL stuff. We need Brian Flores. Yeah. Flores is a name I would love to consider. Flores still should be a head coach somewhere. And Mike McDaniels ain't doing shit in Miami anymore. Jalen Hurts might just end up like McNabb. One Super Bowl appearance and tons of playoffs, but no ring. Their careers are strangely, trending in the same direction. Barkley got blown up by Levante David, and Hurts missed wide open Calcaterra. I do remember vaguely Calcaterra getting missed on a play. I don't remember why, though. I don't remember why. Fourth week in a row, I asked, how did A.J. Brown injure his hamstring during a damn walkthrough? They do practice during the season. Not hard every single practice. They normally do 2 practices and 1 walkthrough. Last week, they did 2 walkthroughs and 1 practice. But most weeks, Brian, they do 2 practices and 1 walkthrough. Wednesday, Thursday practice, Friday walkthrough, and then it gets adjusted based off of Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, and stuff like that. Duck, it's certainly trending that way. It is. It's kind of gross and making me throw up in my mouth. That last comment is why Mitchie will always be Mitchie Poo. Yes, exactly. Mitchie Poo not out there hustling for followers today for me. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Hope you are well today. Did you watch the Vince? I have not watched the Vince McMahon documentary. I promised myself I would once I get done Breaking Bad. We're about 3 episodes into season 5. So I got about like 3 or 4 more nights of Breaking Bad to get through. I just don't know when I'm going to get. I'll probably get through Breaking Bad this weekend or early next week, and then I'll get to the Vince McMahon documentary. When I do, I will comment on it on the show. Where's your guess? He was scheduled to come on at 9:00. It is still 8:57. So that is Josh Davis from the Philly Sports Special, the Philly Special. I have had to cut every single player in fantasy, including defensive kicker. Oh my goodness gracious! He overthrew out of bounds to Calcaterra. I'm trying to remember it. Like I don't remember it anymore. He will always be Mitchie Poo in our hearts. That is correct. How many times can you watch Breaking Bad? This is my first time watching it. So, Stoll caught a short pass. I couldn't believe it. Stoll randomly does catch passes here and there. Not always. Guys, one more time before our guest gets here. If you're watching anywhere but the STT Sports Network YouTube page, make sure you click subscribe. This is trending in the AM, okay? Live every day, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday for 90 minutes. But you got to be watching starting next week on the STT Sports Network. That's the only place you're going to be able to watch and comment going forward. And the Facebook page will still be there for a little while longer. But YouTube-wise, that'll be the only place. So please get that subscribe up there, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. I did not know that. Was that talked about in the documentary? Because I'll learn that when that happens. I just started watching Billions so far. A really good show. Heard of it. Haven't watched it yet, though. Combo and Badger. Yeah. I love them. I love them in the show. They're great. Big Al says, this team was built to be an offensive juggernaut failing. They've been missing their best offensive weapon for 3 weeks, missing their offensive lineman, their Hall of Famer for 1.5 games. They've been missing their other wide receiver for a game and change. They haven't scored in the first quarter in 4 games. That is true. Not scoring in the first quarter of a football game for as long as the Eagles have, because it dates back to last year too, Big Al. I think it was like 5 or 6 games last year too. I think it's like 10 or 11 straight games first quarter touchdown. That's bad pregame scheming. This team does not fear their head coach. True. I think Big Al, I don't even need my guest to come on today. We can just drop the show right here. Big Al's locked it up for the day. I need to see that message. 21-day practice window open. Vic Fangio did mention in his press conference, Brian, that he thinks it'll happen in week 6, leading up to the week 6 game, the 5th game of the year. So after the bye, his window should be open. But he did say, as typical Vic Fangio, to be patient with Sidney Brown. Be patient with him. Coming off that injury, it's going to take him time, A, to learn the system, but B, to get himself back into football game shape. There's a difference between getting in shape and healthy and getting in football shape. Yeah, they're coming to an end here. I heard it in a Brett interview, and SC, Stone Cold, confirmed it on his pod. Interesting. Did not know that, though. I was on a side wrestling note, as we get set here. I was watching baseball last night, but I did go through Twitter, I saw Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. And oh my God, that is right there what's wrong with wrestling. I don't need to see two acrobats dancing a pre-rehearsed skit like that. It does literally nothing for me. Barbara saying, Phil, Matty B is a ghost on Google. That thing he put up yesterday led me to 12-year-old boys singing. Oh man, poor Matty B. He hasn't started. I think he said October 8th. Next Tuesday he's going to start a show. I will make sure I get the link for you, Barbara. Are you on Facebook or Twitter? If you are, find me on Facebook or Twitter, and send me a message, and I will get you his link, because I got his link. It just doesn't have anything on it yet because he hasn't produced. It's literally brand spanking new with no no shows on it. So if you find me on social media, even on Instagram, I will send you a link if you send me a message. Okay. Can we also mention the Phillies are not do crap? The vault at Citizens Bank Park home field advantage is moot. Real quick, I'm going to throw one Phillies question as we wait for our guest to join us here. Okay. Who do you pitch in game 2? Whoever it's against, Mets or Brewers? Christopher Sanchez or Aaron Nola? Aaron Nola is the second best pitcher on this team. He should pitch, but Christopher Sanchez at home this year has a 2.21 ERA. On the road, Christopher Sanchez has a 5.02 ERA. So game 2 is going to be at home. Game 3 is on the road. Do you go Sanchez or Nola in game 2? I think it's not as clear-cut an answer as it can be, but I still go Nola, but I think there's room for debate on that. Hertz has his moments. He does have his moments. Real active. But too many turnovers on miscommunication? Absolutely. I think once Cooper DeJean settles into the defense, I think things may improve, but without a pass rush. I don't know what you do with the pass rush. I don't know how you fix the pass rush. No clue how you fix the pass rush, because the pass rush is just straight not good at this point. It's not good. It's non-existent. I need Jalen to use his power to demand Nick to be removed. We've seen in other sports and other teams and other cities, even in football, the coach, the quarterback, the highest paid basketball player, the star player on the baseball team, Bryce Harper wields his power all the time in the Phillies to sign certain players. Is this a scenario where Jalen Hurts could use his power to get Nick Sirianni fired? This is a very interesting question. They've invested a lot of money in Jalen Hurts. Is this a scenario where that even remotely could happen? I don't know if I like an individual player on any team in any sport wielding that kind of power, but maybe. Maybe it's something. Maybe you're onto something there, Eric. Maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe. Okay. I'll try to get the link into the description tomorrow for you. If I can. Pitching Garrett Stubbs when we are getting blown out. I don't trust that Phillies team. Garrett Stubbs and Cody Clemens have way too many innings pitched this year. I am pleasantly hopeful for the Phillies. The Mets and Brewers are going to be tired. Phillies are going to be rested. I'm a little concerned they come out of the gates a little quiet offensively in game 1. The fact that they haven't played. Supposedly the intra-squad game yesterday was a 5-5 tie. Supposedly there was a lot of money on the line. If they have a $5,000 fantasy football league, how much money was on the line in that? And then they tied anyway. How he needs to trade for Crosby or Hendrickson. What are you willing to give up for somebody like that on the defense end as an edge rusher? How much are you willing? See, here's the thing, Anthony. And me and you, we're positive. We still think this team's got a chance. A lot of Eagles fans don't think this team has a chance anymore, okay? So the question is, if this team has really got a Super Bowl chance, you give up X. But if you don't think this team can win a Super Bowl, do you really give up a prime draft pick to go get a Crosby or Hendrickson? Do you do that? And that's where I just don't know the answer to that question. What's the ceiling for this team? It's the playoffs. I don't know if this team's got a Super Bowl ceiling. I don't think one player on defense fixes that. Pass rush was not good last year with Reddick. Not sure why people thought he makes a difference. Losing John Hargrave was huge. It was. And you know what, on top of that, and shout out to him, poor guy did get hurt and he's out for the season. Nola was way more road composure than Sanchez. No question. Exactly. And so it makes the argument that maybe you do go Sanchez. If Wheeler, it's almost like you need to not announce game 2 after you see. If you win game 1, if Wheeler pitches as he should pitch, and we win game 1, then you could take a chance on Sanchez in game 2. But if you lose game 1, then you've got to go 0-2 because you can't risk Sanchez in his first playoff start, in game 2, not being able to live up to the pressure of it's a different atmosphere. You get what I'm saying, Nooms? Like, you just don't know what to do there. I got the Phillies get bounced out in the second round. Originally, I said the Phillies wouldn't get through one round. And if it's the Mets, I think we could beat the Mets. I really do. And the Brewers are a very team. Thanks, Phil. Much appreciated. I will do whatever I can to help you out with that, for sure. I'm going to give up Nolan and a second, third for Crosby. That's a lot, Brian. For a guy that doesn't think this team's going to make it very far, that's a lot to give up. Now, if you thought Jalen Hurts was great and we could still win a Super Bowl with one move, does doing this trade put us in Super Bowl contention? I just don't know. Is Crosby going to fix the discipline and heart on the defense? I don't know. Stop. Mitchie Poo, I'm sure you saw it on social media floating around. Tobias Harris on social media chirping at Eagles or chirping at Sixers fans. You love to see it, right? I'm truly 100% that Jalen Hurts and our offensive line will get it together after the bye week. It will show in week 6. I appreciate it, man. I hope so. Easiest strength of schedule the Eagles have remaining the rest of the year. Easiest strength of schedule. So if they turn it around, oh, shoot. That's where the guest is. I totally forgot to send him the link. Hold on 1 second, guys. Oh, my goodness gracious. I never hit send on the link for our guest today. It was sitting in the message, and I never hit send. Sorry, just saw your message. Yeah, false advertising. My bad. That is my apologies. Amateur hour, I'm the amateur. Dude, I got a lot going on, Marshawn. A lot going on right now in my life. Mistakes happen, okay? Last year showed everybody that Nick is incapable of making change. He was stubborn enough, absolutely. Let's see. Hopefully he saw it. So he should be jumping on here in a second. Oh my God. But the honest Phil, yeah. Let me fire up. Yeah, got that. What is up, Joe Castro, my man? How are you today? Love you, my man. Good Lord, and you call yourself I know, exactly. Amateur hour right now on my part right now. But joining us on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, one of the absolute best in Eagles YouTube right there, Josh Davis, the Philly special. Josh, I am so sorry, man. I had the link in the message. I just never hit enter to send the link.
You're all good. I was like, I'm sure that you meant to, so that's why I was going to message you. I was just about to actually send a message on the YouTube chat because I was like, oh, maybe you see that one a little bit quicker. Just flash that one up on the screen.
God.
Hey, send the link, bro.
As we call them, the Core 12, the people that watch every day. I've been promoting you for a day now, and they were waiting for you, and they were all hammering me like, where are you at? And I'm like, oops, I better check that one out there.
Well, it would be, I would just say this, it would be very much like me to be late anyway. So most of the time, whenever I'm starting the streams, I'm like 5-10 minutes late. So it's basically par for the course here. So, but I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time out to come here on this show here this morning. Let's just get right into it. I had an intention to start asking you some Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni questions to get your opinions, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I woke up this morning to see videos of Vontae Maddox, Darius Slay, and Quinyon Mitchell chirping and goofing around with Mike Evans. And I'm sure you've seen the videos. And a common thread this week on the show has been about the optics of this Eagles team, especially on defense and what's going on. What's your take on Darius Slay? Vontae Maddox it almost seems like not taking it seriously at this point.
Yeah, I went on a bit of a rant on one of my live streams earlier this week for Slay, and I get the fact that he's a veteran, and so is Vontae Maddox. So there's going to be probably a difference, as there was, and you'd see it for, I'm sure, a lot of different mic'd up clips of different veterans down the league. They know each other. There's some camaraderie. They're in the league together. So that part to me is not as big of a deal. Like, I would prefer what Q does, even for my veteran. Sure, I would love for them to be like, when we're on the field, this is no buddy thing. This is, we're going after each other. It doesn't usually, or doesn't always happen, I guess. So to me, that one's like, not as big of a deal. What's a bigger one to me is what's happening off of the field, and that's with Slay after a game when your team did not play well, when you did not play well, and you're going to post your stats and say, hey, make sure and look at me, look at what I did. It's like, bro, I don't care what you did. No one cares what you did. Now, when you retire, sure, hey, you look back at your career and reflect on that. Right now, I want to know, what are you doing for me today? And if you're not doing good enough for me right now, then you should be benched. You shouldn't be playing, or you at least shouldn't be talking, because you're a captain on the team. Now, I'll give everyone a pass, and I'm a very forgiving type of person. Not that Slay needs to hear it from me. He blocked me and blocked others, I'm sure. But still, if it's a one-time thing, I don't mind. Hey, everyone makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. But when you think back to last season, Slay went on his podcast whenever JB was getting torched, and he was having some up and down games, and the trash can pictures came up. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, I could take a joke, blah, 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 but I've been playing good. I played almost a perfect game. And, maybe I could have made a couple plays, but I played almost a perfect game. But then the defense as a whole didn't play worth crap. It's like, okay, dude, so this has happened multiple times now, and you have a common thread, a common denominator of it's selfish. Like, there's no other way to call it. It is selfish. It's self-centered. It's not a captain. It's not showing leadership. And when he comes back and offers an apology of, I lead by example, I'm in a different form, I'm in a different way. It's like, bro, miss me with that. That is not even what, because actions speak louder than words. It's one thing, and I can appreciate an apology, but once the cat's out of the bag, it's too late. And you've shown time and time again that it does not lead up to that type of exception. So, I was even more, I guess, heated and whatnot in the stream the other day, but I still come back to, you're right, Phil. You say the optics of it.
It is
Defensively, they're not playing good on the field. And people may make the case well, if they were playing better, we'd give him a pass and everything else. Subconsciously, we might give a little bit of a pass, but at the end of the day, I still want my captains to be held up to a certain standard. And you can dang sure believe you're not ever going to see this. You wouldn't have ever seen this from Fletch. You wouldn't ever see that from Jason Kelsey. You didn't see it from them. There's a different level. And I know people lead from different, aspects and different minds and ways of thinking, but there's also a certain point where I'm like, if that's my captain, I'm sorry. It doesn't need to be about me. The first thing you do publicly, because he understands this. He's 33 years old. He's been in the NFL for a while. He's had media react to things he's done. When you do something, understand it is going to be viewed by a certain amount of people, because especially you are a captain and you have that type of voice around the league. But nonetheless,
and you mentioned that he's a captain. You mentioned his age, and you bring up last year, and I haven't mentioned last year once on this show about that part of it, and it's a great point. But last year you had other veteran leaders on this defense. You're the guy now on this defense. Fletcher Cox is gone. This is a lot of young guys that are looking to Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. A lot of guys looking to him for the example on how to be a pro, how to be a leader themselves. Jalen Carter said in the I don't know if it was in training camp or in the offseason, he wants to be a leader. He wants to be a captain. He's not there yet. But then you got Darius Slay acting the way he does on and off the field. And I know it kind of got slightly overblown, but him going on the Micah Parsons podcast to old people like me, that just doesn't sit well. That's just not how you present yourself as a Philadelphia Eagle. And Darius Slay, as a veteran, as an older person, as a captain, needs to understand that. And I don't think he understands what his place on this team needs to be for this team to succeed.
I totally agree. Yeah. And again, it comes back to more so for me, because I'm even it's a different day and age. I know everybody's doing podcasts, with players and all that other stuff. It's fine. If they want to go on and do that and they want to hang out, it's not my preference, but it would be one thing if he goes and hangs out with the enemy and it's just, like a new heights of sorts, right? That's a little bit different, but still, you go just talk about the game. There's no throwing shade at players, especially your own players, and you just go out there and do that. But it's a difference when you go on with the enemy. There's already beef between Micah Parsons and CJ Gardner-Johnson, and then you just laugh at your player with Micah Parsons on that. That's again, it's just frustrating, and he could play it off as, I'm kind of a jokester, nothing that deep, blah, blah, blah. But it's okay, but what does it mean to CJ? I don't care what it means to you. The statement, and the realization of being a leader is, again, how is that being portrayed by the rest of my teammates and everyone else? Now, ultimately, I will say, I believe that even with the antics there and the lack of leadership, the team can move past it. I think CJ can move past it and they will be fine, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a whatever, and just move on. So it's probably going to be okay. but it's still, to your point there, it's like you have young guys looking up to him, and you're like, that's not the first thing that I want them to be able to say, oh, hey, after a loss, this is how what 12-year vet or 13, however long it's been.
How does Chauncey
in the
Gardner
league.
Johnson feel? I mean, he's having a struggles this season, and
Yeah,
then that happens. That's got to almost be like a little kick in the nuts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
for
struggling. I
sure.
need my leader to pick me up, but he's laughing at me.
Yeah. Especially because, again, he already had the beef with Micah Parsons. He's kind of like talking to him. CJ did I think the Instagram live or something that he went
Yeah.
and like talking about Parsons and blah blah blah. Yeah, and then to see that, which I don't know if there was the exact correlation, but I saw the one word response on Instagram that he had, the damn, basically. So it's like if that's his initial thought to seeing Slay, which mine would be too, I'd be like, seriously? Like you legitimately just did that and you don't think it's a big deal? So yeah, it's not a good look.
Something's got to give in sports in general with just taking Instagram and social media away from players during seasons, because there's too much immaturity from these kids and these young guys, and they make so many mistakes that just fuel the fire and stoke the fire from us fans.
Yeah, it's
It does create good content though on a side.
That's true. It definitely does, and there's so many moments because, like, I mean, we'll all say it, but definitely being like a content creator, like it makes for great stuff whenever it's the good positive parts, right? Like, oh, hey, here's a posted of an extra clip before the game, after the game, even we don't want our guys DMing like Kenny Gainwell or others during the game, or Devin White retweeting other people's stuff, but it's there's certain
totally
things
forgot about
to
the
it,
Gainwell DM.
right? Where you're like, hey, maybe not. Seems like an obvious thing, but maybe not.
Oh man! All right, so let's get to this team a little bit more seriously here. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. Obviously, there have been some highs, some lows. There's something that I've been talking about. I was watching some of Shane Half and his all 22 breakdown, and he was breaking down some of the plays and some of the struggles early in the last game for the Bucks or against the Bucks. And he said something that really resonated for me. And whether you're a Jalen Hurts supporter or a Jalen Hurts not supporter, where are the easy throws for Jalen to get him into a rhythm? And it's something that kind of really, I watched it yesterday. It's been sticking in my stomach and in my mind for 24 hours now. Like, he's struggling. There are issues. He's lost confidence, whatever it may be. Maybe he was just never as good as 2022. But can't the offense of coordinator, can't the head coach, can't we design a system or a game plan, or at least the first 15 plays? If you get him into a rhythm, if you get his confidence going in the game, that's when then the great Jalen Hurts comes out. But when he struggles early, then it snowballs really quickly for him. Is it the offense coordinator? Is it Jalen? Where's the disconnect coming from the start of these games?
The question also becomes to that, and I'll certainly answer that one. But the question also becomes to that: who is the one that is calling these plays, or more so, who is the one that is game planning for this situation? Because it's interesting when we come out in the first quarter. Everyone knows this by now, but we've done nothing. It's been 4 games, 4 first possessions. All have resulted in very meaningless offense. It's 7 total yards. It's 3 punts. It's 1 interception. So it's been abysmal, to say the least. But then you come out of the second half, and the Eagles' first opening drive in the second half has been mostly positive. They've been able to actually do something. So it's something with the adjustments. Okay, they're seeing the defense doing this. We can appreciate that, but still it feels very much like 2023 because we're going, hey, played a bad first half, especially the latter part of 2023, and say we played a bad first half. You come out here, make adjustments, and now it gets promising. I don't know if this is Sirianni being too heavily involved in the game plan, especially to start the week, because the first drive is so scripted, or usually you're going to go with the plays that you're like, all right, hey, let's go here, and then try to make things work. But yes, I mean, shout out to Shane and Johnny. Both of them had great content and breaking it down. It's a similar aspect of you go, I'm not sure why that was run. I don't know where they thought this would actually work. And if we as fans, and I'm saying I'm kind of taking myself outside of it because I think Shane and Johnny do it fantastic. They understand it better than I do. But if just the casual observer who's not breaking down film can go, that probably doesn't seem like a good play against the Todd Bowles defense, then I don't know what we're doing as the team itself coming out and running options to say, yeah, it's not a get Jalen in rhythm. It's not get some quick hitters out there. It's not slowly, start to get up a couple first downs, because there's no excuse, even with, we've had the last game for sure, but even a couple injuries, there's no excuse with the talent on this roster to say 4 games into it, there's not a single drive that's gone longer than 19 yards and in total 7 yards for all 4 possessions. and no points in the first quarter. It's absolutely inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, I always joke about it. And Marshawn, I'll get to your question in 1 second for Josh, but I listen to every press conference all week long. I take notes on them all, and Kellen Moore is like the perfect coach talk. When he doesn't give you anything, he doesn't really answer anything. And
Yeah.
he was asked in his press conference this week about sometimes what happens on defense can dictate that you should probably get away from the script or change the script that plays or deviate pretty quickly. And he didn't answer that. And the first two defensive, well, lack thereof of stands for the Eagles defense should have dictated to get away from, that script that they had preset, but they stuck to it. Do you think it's more Kellen Moore's fault there, or do you think Nick Sirianni's like, yo, this is what we're doing, stick to it?
I think
I can't figure out who's in control
I know
of this offense.
and that's the difficult part, because we look at the motion and we say, okay, week 1, I think it was like 63% or something like that with motion. And not that all motion is just the only, end all be all, or the dictator for say, oh, well, that's Kellen Moore's offense and this is not, but still it's 63%. And then it's continued to slowly fall, or maybe even drastically in some instances. The counter argument is, okay, you're dealing with some injuries and it's differences of games. So maybe the game got away from you, or it has, and so you just throw things out the window and less motion, less creativity. I don't know. You go back to what's comfortable. It still does not seem fully that way, because we heard all the reports throughout, training camp. We saw it within the open practice. Jalen taking these differences, seeing a different offense with the motion and everything there. But ultimately, I mean, I'd say it's probably some of both. It's hard. Shout out to Anthony DeBona, who was in the chat here as well. But Anthony wrote a good article on like the 5 steps to fix the Eagles. And one of those was mentioning, the quote from Sirianni and saying like, oh, like my wife, like the backseat driving type of deal. I'll be driving, she's telling me where to go. It's a certain flavor of that. The hard part is it's difficult to tell to what extent. And I believe that anyone who has driven with a backseat driver would claim and understand it's not the most fun experience, especially
Anybody married has done that.
Especially if they're very involved and going like, no, I've got it. I know where I'm going. Like, I have some confidence here, but it totally takes everything away from you. And there is probably some frustration. So we haven't seen that, and we probably won't within a Kellen Moore press conference, because, as you said, it's very, very PC. You're not going to get anything from it.
It is the ultimate Andy Reid type press conference right there.
It is.
He
would
really
fit
is. Right in as a head coach. Actually, that you say that, Martian just asked another question. Does anybody on the coaching staff or the players actually, I'm going to paraphrase and add a word, have the guts to go to Nick and say, Coach, we should run the ball here, or we should do this or that? Do you think anybody on the offense has the guts to even say that to Nick Sirianni? Because obviously Jalen Hurts won't. Because Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, obviously there's a disconnect, there's a fracture, there's something that can't seem to get mended there. Do you think anybody should, or do you think anybody has the guts to do that?
You think that the "we have our moments" comment is
I wrote that in my notebook after that was said, so big and bold, circled it 3 times. I'm old school. I don't know about you, but I have a notebook. I use a notebook for everything. I go through notebooks like every month. Okay.
I've been doing that for a long. I very recently transitioned to the notes in my phone. So I still keep it everywhere, but
I like my notebook. And then I can't read it because I jot stuff down so hastily I can't read half my notes. But
see, that's the problem. My handwriting is so atrocious that it's just slowly gotten worse because of this age of technology. So I probably wouldn't be able to read it anymore. That's maybe the reason that I changed. But I don't. As far as the offense, I would hope that some people have the confidence to say, hey, we should run the football here. I don't know if we're at the level at that point, because that's also maybe an issue too. Is like, if we do get to the point of players saying, hey, we need to do this, then have we completely lost all trust? Are we back to a situation of questioning, is the locker room fractured? Is the team, at odds, or are they at odds with the coaching staff and things like that? So far, even with some struggles, even with a little bit of, irritation, it seems like all of the team has Sirianni's back. We're not getting these leaked reports of someone at odds with, or disagreement with the offense, the game plan, the scheme, anything like that. But if it goes beyond this bye week here, and you go against Cleveland and you really struggle, or you go a couple weeks and really struggle, I'm going to find it very difficult to believe that we don't start seeing some of those things, because this is a team with too much talent, especially guys getting back from injury, to say that we're seeing the same thing. And I would imagine or envision that you've got a guy like a Saquon Barkley, who has been a little bit more vocal, maybe an AJ Brown who's a little bit more vocal of just inserting things. It doesn't have to be, demonstrative or getting in his face, but still, like we've even seen mic'd up footage of AJ from last season and telling, I think it was, I think DK McDonald, even in a situation like, hey, I got you. Like, if you need me to go in and play some defense. So if he's willing to say that in the heat of the moment to a defensive backs coach, or I guess, secondary in that sense, then I'm sure he would be willing to insert and say, hey, maybe we should actually run this thing. But I don't know. It's just the strangest situation, because there's still play calls of things that we see a very similar flavor, Sirianni-esque, with a little bit of emotion sprinkled in. It's not as much of a Kellen Moore type of system that I was hoping to see, at least so far.
Marshawn is just bringing fire with questions. He's asking that, pre-snap motion, it just doesn't look like it's the right kind of pre-snap motion, jogging to their spots instead of getting there and giving the defense too much time. But this question that he just put in here, I don't even know how to answer, because I've never even thought about this in this way. Nick Sirianni's always sticking up for the players. He's always taking bullets, for everybody, coaches and players. And does that lead to them not wanting to respect or able to respect him, to not be able to call people out and call a spade a spade? I just saw that, and I wanted to give him time on his pre-snap motion question, but I see his question. I'm just like, I don't even know if there's enough time in the day to even think about the right answer for this one here.
That's an interesting thought. I mean, I would say, if it's outside of the media and the press conferences and that thing were happening, then I think, sure, I would envision that a lot of us would look at that and go, man, the dude's a poser. You got to be get real, like that's ridiculous. No one's going to respect him for that. I can understand a little bit of a difference, and I think most people see I guess the lack of parallels in those situations, but being like, okay, it's the media, and sometimes it'll get blown out of proportion, or sometimes maybe they have the thought of the players and or the coaches, like, hey, a word will get twisted or something gets taken out of context. So I don't think so as much there. I see, Marshawn, I appreciate the comment. I see where you're coming from with that one, but I do feel like, as AJ even said in the what was it, the Come to Jesus meeting with the media last year, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is not what's going on. Sirianni's saying things that he doesn't mean. Basically, he's standing up for us. We appreciate him. We have his back. I think that if anything, it probably gains a little bit of credibility, because Sirianni's like, guys, look, I'm willing to fall on the sword, as idiotic as it sounds, because I can't believe, as I know that we're frustrated with Sirianni offensive schemes and game planning, everything. If we go back to last year, I can't believe that a guy is going to say, we called a final play literally just hoping for a pass interference. There was actually no design in the Seattle game, but there was no design at all. We were not trying to get a first down. We were not trying to get down the field a little bit more, set up for a Hail Mary, anything like that. It was literally, we called a play to get a pass interference in that situation. Like, it's idiotic. Like, there's no way that it's to that extreme. So sure, if I'm a player, I'm probably also going like, man, that's far-fetched, but I can appreciate the fact that whenever AJ came back and said, no, we ad-libbed there. Like, that was us going off script. We didn't go based off of the play. For Sirianni to be like, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. If you guys say that, that's fine, but I'm not going to go out there publicly and, just immediately throw my players off or under the bus.
Well, at this point, it really doesn't matter, because Nick Sirianni is not going anywhere. I know everybody wants to hear fire this, or waiting to everybody's jumping on that Bill Belichick picture and stuff like that. Look, Nick Sirianni's not going anywhere. They're 2-2 with all the injuries and all the new coordinators and all the new players. They also now have the easiest strength of schedule the rest of the season. How are you feeling as we get ready to wrap this show up today, confidence-wise, with this Eagles team going forward, knowing that they're going to get A.J. Brown back, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson? They got to buy. They've got the next 4 games. What is it, like 3-13, the combined record of their opponents?
Yeah.
I mean, they're set up to go on a run now. Are you confident that even with all these dissension, fracturing, immaturity, lack of discipline, all the words we can use, that they can turn it around?
I am somewhat confident. I'm tempering that a little bit.
You are just like Kellen Moore. You're not giving me any good or bad. You're just towing the middle line.
I really am, because I've tried to go back and forth of like, can I really jump on board here? But the problem is that I was that way whenever we begun the season, and then it's the Packers game, and you're kind of like, well, the field is not. It's definitely an excuse. It was a terrible excuse, for a football field there. But you had different of rust and not playing in the preseason for the offensive starters. So there were things that you could kind of just explain away. And then as we continued, game after game now, I know there's some injuries.
Mhm.
But I'm like, man, I just don't know. There's some issues that we're all seeing here. Does that get fixed? And how much of a change is it? And then we look at the defense, and Fangio was supposed to come in here and help. I know that a lot of people, and myself included, don't necessarily love the bend but don't break mentality. But
Mhm.
regardless, that's what you chose to be. And
Yeah.
so, if anything, at least it could be the best version of that. But
Mhm.
we've seen him make some very questionable decisions within his scheme. Obviously, players are not helping that by missing 18 tackles or whatever the official number was. But ultimately, they have a schedule, like you said, a 3-13, especially the first 4 games. I think that'll be
Mhm.
the most telling. The first 4
Absolutely.
games out, like,
They gotta go
you
3-1
should
in that stretch at
you
least.
do, you really do, and it
Absolutely.
could very well be 4-0, but
Mhm.
you gotta beat Cleveland. I mean, heck, after the bye, like, get this thing going, beat Cleveland, New York, if you lose there, I mean, come on. So
That's a
you
problem.
beat that. At Cincinnati, that could be difficult. The Bengals, interesting start to the season, but I
Mhm.
think they're better a little than their record shows. But in Cincinnati, if you win that one, and then Jacksonville primetime Sunday Night Football, Doug Peterson, I mean, may very well be gone by then. So
He very well may
you
be.
could go 4-0, and then this thing can build. You could get some momentum, and we've seen things turn around before. But as of right now, I mean, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being they are gonna just run the table and all things are gonna be fixed. I'm probably at like a 6.5 or 7. I'm still optimistic, but I there's things that I've seen. I'm like, I need to see it multiple games. We haven't won by 2 possessions in what, like 15 games. It's been
Oh, wow.
ridiculous now.
It has been. Like, I know you gotta go here soon. 'Cause I know you're doing Joe Castro later in the next half hour. My man, Joe. Um, but every first-time guest has to answer one non-sports question for the chat. And anytime I forget to ask a guest for the first time this question, I get peppered with, so many mean comments for not asking this. It's a common
Fair
thread in
enough.
the show. Common to the Core 12. You can only watch one movie for the rest of the year or for the rest of your life, but you only have 2 choices, okay? The
Okay.
Godfather or Goodfellas? What do you check? What do you
Oh
take?
my gosh. Okay. I feel like I get asked a very similar question to this before. I would have to say Goodfellas. And
Yeah,
and it's, yeah, just the rewatchability. If I was gonna pick which one's better, Godfather's going up there. Like, that's not a
right.
question for me. But Goodfellas, yeah, it's just I think I could get through that one a lot. It's Godfather, as people know, I'm sure that have watched it. If you haven't, you're
Yeah.
crazy. You've lost your
Well,
mind.
one
Go
of
and
my
watch
well,
that.
I can't
But
even remember who it was. One of the Eagles beat reporters I had on like 3 weeks ago said he's never even seen Goodfellas. I don't even remember which one it
seriously.
was. Yeah, I was like, "What are you even talking about here? How have you not seen Goodfellas?" It's on TV like 37 times a day,
Oh my
but yeah.
gosh, it's a classic. You have to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. I love movies, obviously. I try to use as many movie clips in the
Yeah.
show as I can. But yeah, I think gotta go Goodfellas. But there's also no question in my mind if we're ranking which one's better.
Yeah, it's
It's The
one's better
Godfather
than the other, but one's more rewatchable.
for
Absolutely.
sure.
Josh, man, you do such fantastic work. I love the game, the live game
Thank
parties. I
you.
love all your content. I don't know if you know, we're starting a new thing here. This is actually, my previous channel's kind of going away. This is kind of a new thing, so I greatly appreciate your time this morning. But I really look up to what you guys do and what you do on your channel there. So, just wanted to shout that out and just make sure, guys, if you're not watching Josh's channel, I did put the link to his YouTube channel. I mean, 75,000 plus subscribers. Most people watching this are probably already watching your content over there. But if not, guys, make sure you find Josh over there on his channel.
I appreciate that, Phil. That's awesome. Well, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
Definitely do it again. But
I promise
appreciate you
next
having
time I
me
won't
on.
forget to send the link so we
Wait,
get like 5 more minutes of time.
it, it's all right. Again, we all make mistakes. So
Yeah.
I would have
I make
probably
a
been
lot
late
more than
anyway.
most.
So
So,
it's this was good. I appreciate
all
it.
right. Josh, thanks. Have a great day. All right.
Awesome.
All right. That was Josh Davis. Guys, really, truly find his stuff, man. It is fantastic. We've already hit overtime for the day today, guys. We're already well past the 90-minute mark of the show. But, guys, back tomorrow. I really do want to shout out real quick. Tonight, Tampa Bay versus Atlanta, Thursday Night Football. Atlanta's a 1.5-point favorite now. 2 teams that we've played, 2 teams that we've been beat by. It's actually a pretty good Thursday Night Football matchup, guys. Well, hold on. Phil, you the man for real. Dude, I try. Actually, Marshawn, you don't realize this, but my start really got big by actually interviewing. I really, truly, thoroughly enjoy interviewing people. And now that I, have to do a little bit more work to build this channel, which I just, again, put the link in the chat. If you're watching anywhere but the STT Sports Network, the link to where to find me and my new channel is in the description and in the chat and stuff like that. Please find it. Please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I love interviewing people, Marshawn. That is what I love to do the most. Yeah, thank you. He didn't say Goodfellas. And Barb, if you're still around, Matty B was commenting. This is how you find it. This is what he's got. It's a Wrap Sports Network. That's where or that's what Matty B is now calling his channel. Just so you know. Just so you know. Thank you, Joe. Now he's all yours on your channel. All right, my man. So hopefully you don't forget to send the link like I do. Yeah, I want my trophy back. Duck, no comment on my thing today. If you don't know where that my quote came from today, I don't know if we could be friends. They'll print anything these days. You got to know where that is. Think about that one for tomorrow. I didn't put the stream. Oh, I did put the StreamYard link. I did because damn it, I had the other link and then I had to send him the link. My bad. Anyway, whatever, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow button. Guys, well, I got to get to 1,000 subscribers for the super chat. That's why it's so important to get this brand going. I want my super chat button back, so I got to get to 1,000 subscribers to even get qualified for that. So let's do it. But I do have my Venmo and PayPal linked below. Where is the oh, stop, K1? You're out. Anyway, guys, I got to wrap this up. Time to get to work. Yeah, it's your chance. Maybe you want to come and watch. I'm going to do a Phillies watch along party on Sunday, Mitch. You're more than welcome to come join me in the super chat or in the show for the Phillies chat. Yeah, you got to get to 1,000 subscribers to be eligible for super chat, and you got to have a certain amount of hours watched. I'm actually trending pretty close for that. Yes, see, you figured it out. There we go. One of the most underrated James Bond movies. Elliot Carver, one of the best underrated Bond villains of all time. Terry Hatcher, probably the best Bond girl of all time, just because I have a thing for Terry Hatcher massively. The media mogul. Yes, exactly. Love it. See, now we're into 6 minutes of overtime. My wife's probably like, when are we getting to work here? But anyway, guys, I got to wrap it up tomorrow. Nick Faria will go over the whole entire NFL. We'll go over the whole NFL slate. I got Atlanta winning tonight taking the 1.5 points there. A matchup of the two teams that have beaten the Eagles. Guys, great show today. Thank you very much. Please, I beg you all, take the link to the STT Sports Network. Subscribe to it. I beg each and every one of you to please take that link and share it to every friend you can. The only way I can grow this new network that I'm building, and I'm going to do watch parties, I'm going to do some night shows, I'm going to try to find interviews and do nighttime interviews. I'm going to try to do a lot of stuff to build this channel up more than I'm already doing. But the only way it works is with you guys sharing that subscriber link out, getting as many people to subscribe as possible. I need your help more than ever, guys. But as always, a great show. The best Lois Lane ever. Yes. The cheesiest Superman show ever, but the hottest Lois Lane of all time right there. And they are spectacular. Okay. Guys, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this show here. Again, I haven't created a new exit intro or exit video yet. Don't even know how to do it. So I'm just going to play some background music here. Thank you guys for watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Please like, subscribe, share, follow, do all that great stuff. Yes, Trey was the most fun Lois Lane, the hottest, and they're spectacular. But with that all being said, guys, ring the bell. We find out who the Phillies play tonight. Go Birds. And bubbles up to y'all.